So Sue, this is our second session, and in the first session you were talking about how you were living in fear of your 8-year-old son over the last few months.
Yeah.
And how he follows you around the house, calls you names, hits you, kicks you. And what you're particularly concerned about is the fact that he started hitting your toddler, and you're anxious about that, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you were talking about how you'd like things to be different. I mean, in particular, last session, you talked about your fears that things might get worse before they get better. So this is our second session, and so far today you've been talking about trying to stay calm at home. And how that has affected your life at home and what you'd like to be different in the future. So I'd like to have a bit more of a chat about the non-violence resistance programme. Do you remember I outlined it last time we met? And we talked about, the strategies that you'd have at home, about staying calm yourself, about practicing non-violence yourself. And you've been trying to do that, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you've been particularly trying not to shout at your son and try not to slap your son.
Right.
So well done on that. And today we're going to focus particularly on the support network.
Okay.
And do you remember the last time we spoke, we talked about your family tree and we drew a genogram? So we talked about people you might be close to, people you may not be so close to, and the biggest success of this programme is for you to have a good support network around you. So someone who you think you can call upon or talk to. Now, you had been talking about that you feel really ashamed.
Yeah.
And about how hard it's going to be for you to tell people about living with child-to-parents violence.
Yeah, I don't want to tell my family. I don't want them to know how bad things have got. I don't want them to think I'm not a good mum or I've done something wrong. So that's my biggest fear. I really don't want to tell them. I'd say they probably could guess, but I really don't want to tell them. Like, if it was a possibility, if this was part of the NVR, I'd be willing to talk about it then. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, what do you think the reaction of your mum and dad would be if you told them that you were living with child-to-parent violence?
I'd say it would scare them. I think they'd be surprised that Matthew is so... he kicks and hits me. I think they'd be really surprised.
Because they've never seen it?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I think you said in particular he was close to his granny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you talked to your partner yet about telling other people? What does he feel about that?
He's more open about it. He doesn't seem that worried about what people are going to think. I hate to admit it, but I'm afraid of what people are going to think of me.
Okay. What do you think he thinks are the benefits of telling other people?
Well, he wants it to stop, and he's willing to do anything, so I think that's what I'm going to have to do as well in the end. As we can't go on like this. It's just completely...
Yeah. What do you think are the main benefits of telling other people?
Well, I won't feel so alone. You do feel like you're the only one on the planet that has these problems. At least I have my partner, but probably people will be better about it than I think. It's probably just fear on my part.
Would it surprise you to know that other people that have been involved in the non-violence resistance programme, when they've told other people and invited other people to the support network, their requests have never been turned down. The response has been very positive and supportive.
Okay.
And no one's ever judged them and thought, oh, you must be an awful parent. That's a fear a lot of parents have.
Sure.
That they'll be judged by others.
Okay.
So, if you were telling people, you'd be asking them for help to do particular things.
Right.
And to help in practical ways.
Right.
So you'd be telling them to tell him that they know about the violence that's happening in your family and what it does to your family, but that they still love him, care about him, support him.
Okay.
But that the violence has to stop. And they're supporting you and your partner to end the violence, but also supporting him to end the violence.
Sure.
Okay, so think about your friends, family and wider. Who do you think you could call upon to help you with something like this? Like someone you can really trust?
Okay, probably the person that springs to mind is my friend. She has a son at the same school, at the same age as Matthew. She and I have gotten quite close over the last few years, so she could be somebody that would help me, yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I have a sister who lives the next street over. Matthew really likes her, and she really likes him too. She'd be someone that would be willing to help too.
Good. Anybody else?
Yeah, probably Granny, but I'd still be scared.
Oh, you'd still be scared.
Yeah, maybe not right away, but maybe later on I could tell my mum about it.
Okay. What about your dad?
No, I'd rather not. He's not the kind of guy that would understand that sort of thing. No, I'd rather not tell my dad. I think just those two people to start with.
Okay. Is there anybody else you think?
No, as I say, just those two people. But my partner's family, they're mostly out in the country, so we don't see them that much.
See, but you know the kind of world we live in today. You know, people live in Australia, America. You know, they can keep in contact through social networking. There's Skype, there's Facebook, text messaging.
Okay.
So we can use those to build up your support network as well.
Okay.
But the power of a support network is that it gives two very clear messages. One is that we're here for you and we care about you. The second is we know about this and we still care about you. That's a very powerful message. So if you could get more than two involved, even if it's someone that's far away, that they can only use Skype or telephone messages, that would be more powerful.
Okay, well, in that case, he has an older cousin that he really looks up to, be like a big brother.
Okay.
So he would probably be good.
And how old is he?
He's 18.
Okay. Is there anybody else you think?
Probably an uncle on my partner's side as well, yeah.
Okay. So how would you like these people to be your support network? Because you're the one who's going to be telling them what you want them to do.
Yeah, what have other parents done?
All sorts of different things.
Yeah?
Some ask them to drop by or just make a phone call when they make the announcement. But we'll talk about the announcement more later.
Okay. Okay.
So what will happen is that family member or friend will ring up after you've made the announcement, maybe the next day, and say, we know about this, we care about you, but the violence needs to stop and we want to help you to make that violence end.
Okay. Okay.
So that would be the minimum we'd ask them to do.
Okay.
And the others would be there as your support. So you might say to them, look, if I get really upset, can I call you in a moment of crisis? Or could you be able to come over and tell my son this violence has to stop, but we're here to support you?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and you'd say, I'd like you to say this calmly, not to give out to my child. And if they don't live nearby, you could ask them maybe to text or call your child and say, I know about this and I want to help you and your mum to end this violence.
Okay, so I'm really in the driver's seat then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So it's not a case of someone marching in being the better parent. You and your partner are the best parents for your child. But what it is, you want someone to come in a moment of crisis and do what you asked them to originally do.
Okay, all right, that sounds good.
Okay, so I'd like you both you and your partner to discuss this, think about this, and then we'll talk about it again when you're here next week.
Okay.
Is there any other questions that you'd like to ask me?
No, I think I have it all.